The daily lunch special at Taylor's favorite restaurant costs $8.60, not including tax. The final cost of the lunch special with tax is $9.25. What is the tax rate to the nearest tenth of a percent charged for the lunch special? The first thing we're going to do, warriors, is highlight. Well, I'm going to highlight. You guys underline your question because it's always very important to know what we're being asked to do. Now, within our question, if you've noticed, I'm going to underline it, but I want you guys to circle it. It says to the nearest tenth of a percent, but it's in bold letters. Anytime you see something in bold letters or italicized or in all capital letters, you got to make sure you pay special attention to what they're asking you to do, okay? So we're going to come back to that. Now, within the problem itself, we need to go ahead and note what we do need. We do need to know that the lunch special was actually $8.60. But when they added the tax, she paid $9.25. So that was actually an increase in the price, okay? And what happened there is what you called a percent of change. And a percent of change is a percent that the quantity changes from the original amount. Well, the original amount, if we go back to the problem, was $8.60 for the lunch special. But when they included the cost of taxes, they added the tax to the $8.60, and she paid $9.25. Okay? So going back here to find the percent of change, you simply take the amount of change, which would be the new minus the old, okay, or original, and you divide it by the original or the old, okay? So let's go back to the problem. We have our formula here. So to set it up, I'm going to simply take to find the amount of change, we're going to take the new amount, which is $9.25, okay? And we're going to subtract the original amount, the $8.60. And then we're going to divide that by the original amount, which will also be $8.60. Okay? Now to find the difference, I'm going to take the $9.25 and I'm going to subtract the $8.60. You guys make sure you're working down your paper. 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus 6, need to borrow. 12 minus 6 is 6. And then I'm going to bring my decimal straight down because that is the rule when you're subtracting decimals, is to line the decimal points up and bring the decimal straight down. So the amount of change in this problem is 65 cents or 65 hundredths, and we're going to divide that by the original amount, and the original amount is $8.60. Okay? So when we divide that, since this is an 8th grade problem, we're going to go ahead and use the calculator. So I have, let me bring it down, 65 cents or 0.65 divided by $8.60 or 8.6 equals. Now, the numbers that are here, I have 0.0755. So I'm going to write that down. 0.0755. Okay? Now this is in decimal form. I have to put my answer as a percent because it is the percent of change. So I'm going to move my decimal point to the right 2 times, So starting here, 1, 2. Now, the question, the bold that I told you we would come back to, it says to the nearest tenth of a percent. Well, if my decimal is here, the tenth place would be after the decimal, which is this first 5 right here. Now, to round it, I will look at the number behind the 5, which is another 5. Is that 5 or more? Yes, it is. So that means I'm going to add a 1 to this 5 and drop everything behind it. So my actual answer would be 7.6, or 7 6/10. Okay? So over in my gridded box, remember, you can put your answer to the left or to the right, but never, never in the middle. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to put my 7 here, my decimal here, and my 6 here. And make sure, it is very important that you bubble in what you wrote in the boxes and that you do it completely. Okay? Very, very important, because we don't want to do all that work and not get credit for it. The last part of it is to put our answer in a complete sentence. The question one more time says, what is the tax rate charged for the lunch special? And the tax rate is 7.6%. And that is all we need, folks. Good job.